late start there. We are going to be talking about major suit fits today. So let's get right into it. So our agenda for today, we are going to be covering why we like majors best, when partner opens a major, what the heck we're going to do, breaking that down into week and invitational raises, and then game forcing raises, and then some extra thoughts and some time for questions at the end. So first, let's talk about why majors are better. They are pompous punks. Everybody seems to think that they are better than everybody else. And so why exactly is that? Well, let's talk about it. Majors are our favorites. Majors and no trump are very similar in score. So majors are going to be worth 30 points for each trick. No trump is worth 30 points for each trick. Plus, you get a bonus 10 points for playing a no trump. So it's very similar. There's only that 10-point difference. But the minors are only worth 20 points for each trick. And that is just so small, we don't like them. So we would much prefer to play in majors or no trump. Minors are our lowest priority. So most decisions are going to be between majors and no trump. And when we are playing, we also have some factors that make majors better for us than a no trump contract. And thinking back to all of the hands that you've played, usually it's going to be easier to build more tricks when you have a trump suit. You get to use additional strategies, you have extra fallback plans, so you are going to have an easier time building those additional tricks. And then no trump is notoriously difficult to play, especially like one no trump, because you have to take 7 tricks to make your contract. Usually the points are pretty split, so a lot of times we have a lot of preference for playing in a major. So majors are going to be our preferred place to play. So let's talk about what the heck we're going to do when partners open one of a major. They've gotten us off to a good start. They've shown us that they have 5 cards in their major and an opening hand. So if they've opened a major, what do we know? Well, we know that they have 5 or more cards in that major and 12 or more high card points. So we are looking for an 8-card fit. The reason we're looking for 8 is because 13 divided by 2 is going to be 6.5. There are 13 cards in each suit, and half of that is 6.5. We want to have at least the majority, so that would be 7. But then there's only a 1-card difference between our opponents and how many cards we have in that suit. So what we would really prefer is to make that a 3-card difference, and we can do that by looking for that 8-card fit. So if we have 8 cards between the two of us, then our opponents only have 5. So we'll have a 3-card difference on them. So since our partner has opened one of a major, if we have 3-card support, we are there. We have enough to have that 8-card fit. Now we just got to figure out if we have enough for game. So we need to indicate to our partner that we have support, and the best way to do that is to raise them. And what that means is bidding their suit at a higher level. So if they bid 1 spade, we could bid 2 spades, 3 spades, or even 4 spades. And so what level we end up bidding shows our strength. If they've opened 1 heart or 1 spade, we must respond if we have 6 or more high card points. And the reason why: partner could have 18, 19, 20, 21 high card points. We have to make sure that we give our partner some latitude after they've opened to make sure that they actually have enough room to discuss how strong their hand is. We don't want to leave them in 1 heart or 1 spade when we actually have like 27 high card points between the two of us. That would be tragic. So we have to respond with 6 or more high card points. And so we break our hand down as the responder into various ranges. Those ranges are going to be 6 to 9 high card points for a minimum. An invitational hand is going to be 10 to 12 high card points, and a game forcing hand is going to be our strong hand. It's going to be 13 or more high card points. So these ranges are going to follow you every time you make a bid as a responder. So when your partner has opened one of a suit, even if it's not 1 heart or 1 spade, and instead it's a club or a diamond, well, you can still use these ranges. You can fall back on these to guide the way that you approach the rest of the auction. So what we want to do is we want to be able to communicate our strength to our partner. So we use these different ranges to guide our rebid. So or our response. That's what that should say. So let's take a look at a couple of examples and break them down into the various categories. So with a minimum hand, 6 to 9 high card points, and 3 card support for partners major, we are going to be raising them to 2 hearts or 2 spades. If we are invitational, we've got 10 to 12 high card points and 3 card support, and we're going to raise our partner to 3 hearts or 3 spades depending on what major they opened. And then if we have a game forcing bid, we are going to come back to that in just a little bit. For right now, we're just going to focus on those minimum and invitational hands. So let's take a look at this example we have here. So counting up our high card points, looks like we've got 11 high card points. So this is going to fall into the invitational range. So let's pop that over there. Let's take a look at the next one. Here we have 7 high card points. We have 3-3 in the major. So whichever major partner had opened, we can raise them to the 2 level. This one, we've got 9 high card points. We have 4 hearts, 3 spades. Whichever major partner opened, we can raise them to the 2 level. For this one, we've got 9 high card points, 3 hearts, 3 spades. If partner opened a heart or a spade, we would end up raising them to the 2 level. For this one, we've got 12 high card points. Game is very close. We want to invite partner to bid game if they are also close. So we are going to treat this as an invitational hand. Then we have another 11 count, 4-4 in the majors. We're going to raise them to the 3 level. And then here we only have a measly little 8 count with, well, we only have 3 hearts and 2 spades, but still we would do the same thing. We would raise them to 2 hearts for this hand. So this is what we do if we have one of those minimum or invitational hands, and we're generally going to be following these rough ranges. Now, what the heck are we supposed to do with a game forcing hand? Well, if we have 4 card support, we can use our Jacoby 2 no trump tool. So one of a major 2 no trump, this is going to show 4 card support, usually balanced in game forcing values. If you haven't learned Jacoby 2 no trump, that is a-okay. I do have a video where I go through this, so you can check that out on my page. But if not, the basic responses are going to be 3-level rebids show shortness, 4-level rebids show 5+ cards in the suit bid. So this is just the basic breakdown. Don't worry about this if you haven't learned it yet. Now, if we have only 3 card support or we haven't learned Jacoby 2 no trump yet and we have 4 or more, we're going to start by bidding a new suit. And ideally, this is going to be a game forcing 2/1 bid. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. Here I have 2 columns. We've opened 1 heart or we've opened 1 spade, and we're going to talk about what our response is here. So looking at this first example, here we have 13 high card points. We definitely have enough for game, so we don't need to jump right to 4 hearts or 4 spades. And the reason why is we want to leave some room to be able to explore for slam. We don't just want to take up all of this room and then have partner guessing at the 4 level as to whether they should continue bidding or not. Instead, what we would like to do is we would like to leave some room to be able to discuss this information with partner at lower levels. So with this hand, as opposed to just jumping to 4 hearts after partner has opened 1 heart, we are going to open we're going to respond our most natural minor at the 2 level. It's going to be 2 clubs or 2 no trump if you've learned Jacoby 2 no trump. Over 1 spade, we only have 3 spades, so we are definitely going to be bidding 2 clubs. Now you may be like, excuse me, Morgan, this makes no sense. Why are we bidding 2 clubs? We only have 3. Well, because who wants to play in clubs? Thinking all the way back to the beginning of class today, we were talking about how minors are our lowest priority. So we definitely don't want to play with clubs as our trump suit. And we know that we have an 8 card fit with our partner in a major. We are always going back to that major. We aren't going to play in clubs. This is just sort of a way for us to continue the conversation. You know how sometimes you're on the phone with somebody and you don't quite want to hang up, so you ask them some prompting question to get them still going? this is exactly what you're doing. We're asking them a probing question, getting them going, and we're going to talk some more and figure out really where we want to spend our lives. Do we want to spend it at the 4 level or at the 6 level? Let's take a look at the next one. So here, how many high card points do we have? Well, it looks like we have a monster. We've got 17 over here. So we have 17 high card points, definitely enough for game. So we need to tell a partner that we have enough for game and that we have support for them. And the way we're going to do this is by starting with our most natural minor at the 2 level, or we could have bid 1 spade with this hand over 1 heart. So this was an oversight on my part. But we could have said 1 spade instead of bidding 2 clubs. So we could have said 1 spade or 2 clubs. Some people would prefer to bid 2 clubs just because we don't want to add in confusion later on in the auction with spades. Instead, we would just start with 2 clubs and then we can show support for spades later. Or for hearts later. Now, over 1 spade, if you're playing Jacoby 2 no trump, you are going to be able to use that. Otherwise, you're going to start with a 2 club response. Number 3 here, looks like we've got 13 high card points, and if partners open a heart, well, we are in a great spot to be responding 1 spade. We have 5 spades. If partner wants to raise our spades, that is great. Good for them. Love that energy. We can forget all about the hearts. But if they don't raise our spades, then fine. We'll go back to hearts and partner can play the hand. If partner open 1 spade, well, with this hand, we definitely want to start with that Jacoby 2 no trump. Otherwise, we're going to be using our most natural minor at the 2 level. So we would bid 2 clubs or 2 no trump, depending on your agreements. Looking at this next one, we've got 14 high card points. Definitely enough for game. After a 1 heart opening, we want to prompt partner to keep bidding. And so to do that, we're just going to make our most natural response at the 2 level, which is going to be a 2 club bid. And now our partner can go on and bid something, and then we'll show support for hearts later. Same for spades. Now let's take a look at this last one, or second to last one. We have 13 high card points. We have 3 card support for both majors. So here, again, we are going to be making our most natural response at the 2 level. So we're going to start with 2 clubs or 2 clubs for both majors. And then this last one, we've got 15 high card points. We had 10 in the first 3 suits. So we've got 15 high card points. And here, again, it depends on your style. Some people would respond 1 spade with this last hand. Other people would decide to just bury the spades for now. They can always show them later. Just starting by making this a game-forcing bid or a game-forcing auction might clear things up. So starting with 2 diamonds or 1 spade would be acceptable over a 1 heart opening. So it's kind of a bunch of nuanced aspects of it, and as you progress through your bridge career, you're going to encounter more of these exceptional hands where you're trying to figure out exactly how to approach it to be able to show that you have one hand versus the other and clear up the auction for your partnership. Over 1 spade, it's easy. It's always going to be 2 diamonds here. So this is the idea for how we are going to be responding to one of a major. Now, I have a couple of additional thoughts here. If game is going to be close, if we've raised our partner's suit, they may be looking to invite us to game as well. So if they end up raising us to 3 of a major, they're asking if we are at the top of our range or at the bottom of our range. Now, they may also use something called help suit game tries, and I'm planning on talking more about this idea next week. So that is a lot of the information that I wanted to talk about today. Additionally, I wanted to bring up, before we close out of here, I wanted to bring up the fact that while I gave you some numbers and while I gave you some general ranges, they are not going to be hard truths. They are not going to be things that you cannot divert from. Bridge is a game of judgment and creativity and looking at the hand and evaluating where you stand. If you walk into a room of experts and you give them all the same hand and you ask them what they would bid, you'll probably get many different answers for any given hand. And so that's one of the beautiful things about bridge is if you look at your hand and you're like, I think I could take more tricks than maybe the 6 to 9 high card points is indicating. well, then you can treat it like it's more of an invitational hand instead. So while I did give you some numbers today, they are not hard truths, and you are welcome to deviate from them as you please. But I guess today ended up being kind of a short class. So I just wanted to thank you all for stopping by. And if anybody has any lingering questions about major suit raises just after partners open a major, then leave those in the chat and I will get back to you on any of those questions. Next week, I'm planning on talking more about how to continue the auction and also a little bit about how to handle it when it goes like a diamond, a major, two of a major. Now, what are we doing? So, thinking about things like that. So, thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you learned a thing or two and maybe had some fun. So, until next time, happy bridging.